Okay, I think it's about time we had a little look at the Arsene Wenger Invincible tactic, don't you? And here is the system and the layout we are going to attempt to emulate. We've had good success recently doing Ancelotti's Milan Christmas tree and the Spalletti high press 4-3-3. So I got to work on this, and let me tell you, in fact let me show you, here's a little spoiler. So yeah, you could say it's been pretty successful. Let's get into it. But sneak preview, this is with Inter Milan. I shared this for the Patreon page. They've got the tactic already, and it was pretty successful. Have a look at this. It did the treble, only losing one match in the league and taking down the Champs League, which, even though we're Inter, that's still a bit of a feat. And the league campaign was astonishing. Scored 122 times. Do you know what? We lost one game. Do you know who it was against? Monza. How it came about was I started with a clean slate, 4-4-2, so just nothing special. This is how we started, and then I ended up building it to look like the right hand side image. First up, we'll start from the front, the iconic duo of Henry and Bergkamp. Henry is your absolute perfect advance forward. I think Bergkamp's probably the perfect example of a deep line forward as well. Now we move into midfield. This is where people are going to have different opinions, but I'm happy with my choices. Lundberg and Pires role, we've got wide midfielders on attack, and there's a rake of player instructions there as well, which we'll get into. Central midfield positions, Gilberto and Vieira. I'm starting them both as defensive midfielders, but remember that doesn't mean they don't contribute going forward, it's just where they start and how they defend. Now the team is starting to take shape. In defence, we've got two fullbacks on attack with some key player instructions, and the centre-backs both being used as ball-playing defenders. And that, in a nutshell, was the way I see that team. So speaking of the wide players, Saka ended up with 24 goals for the season with 21 assists. On the other side, when fit, Ødegaard played that role. 13 goals and 14 assists from him. We started the season by beating City in the Community Shield 3-1, and it was really comfortable, and other than the Chelsea game there and a random defeat to Everton, we were absolutely blitzing teams. An early highlight was the game against Bayern Munich in the Champions League where we battered them 5-0. Old rival Man United next up. Let's have a little look at that team shape, by the way, as I drag that out. You can see there we've got Saka in the Pires role, we've got Nketiah as Henry, Jesus as your Bergkamp, and there's Ødegaard, and you've got your two central midfielders backing up play. Rice, by the way, perfect version of Vieira for this team. Bergkamp-esque finish. So when everybody was fit, that was more often than not the starting 11. I think it transfers quite well from the old Invincible team. As mentioned, Rice had a great season with 7 goals, 5 assists in that Vieira role, and Partey took the more defensive approach in the Silva role. As we continued through the season, our most impressive performance yet was a league game at home to City, and we beat them again. Playing a high press setup, and as you can see, it pays dividends here with Jesus pushing and winning the ball back. Saka in like a wide playmaker role. Linking up play beautifully. Lovely. Jesus here as the Bergkamp role, getting involved in link-up play. Lovely little ball to Saka. And that gave us the Holy Grail win away to Liverpool. Listen, when you're beating City and Liverpool away, you know you're onto something. So it was strong against the bigger teams, and against the weaker teams, it was devastating. Wolves away got the treatment there. Ødegaard bagged the hat-trick in a 7-goal win against Bournemouth. This game against Chelsea shows what we want from our wide players. White getting the ball there to Jesus. He finds Ødegaard. Now, unlike a traditional winger who would go down here and try and cross it in, we've got him playing a different way, which I'm about to show you. And instead, he feeds the ball into Jesus. A thumping 5-1 win against Chelsea. So those wide roles, like I said, so you got Ødegaard and Saka, right? So wide midfielder is a blank slate. There's nothing on them when you press them. When we've got them in attack, it'll mean they go get further forward, hard-coded. That's it. But we've added a ton. There you see it. So we've got to take more risks because we want them to play them cutting balls like you just saw. Cross less often because they're not normal wingers. Dribble more. You remember Pires and Lundberg in full flight. Cutting inside to allow them the space for the wing-backs to go around. We're going to let them roam around a bit as well. Wide midfielder, a massively underused role. Champions League went well as well. This is Atletico Madrid at home. We drew 1-1 away. There's Ødegaard again for a 3-1 win. City must be sick of the sight of us. This is in the FA Cup quarter-finals. And we drew them in the Champions League quarter-finals and beat them yet again. Wenger let his team express themselves, and that's what I did with quite a few of the players, such as the defensive midfield with more direct passes and the fullbacks as well. It helps if you've got good technical players who can do that, such as Zinchenko and Ben White. Just like the Intersave, the Champions League went well. We got all the way to the semi-final. We played RB Salzburg and we were a bit complacent in the first leg and conceded 2. And in the second leg, RB Salzburg knocked us out after getting level in extra time. My fault, I took my eye off the ball there. But we did redeem ourselves in the main thing we came for, the Premier League. Some wonderful football here led to the win against Brighton. And into the FA Cup final, you can see the expressiveness of the players here, just pinging it around, confidence flowing through them. Jorginho getting a run out as well. There's the deep line forward dropping off. And there you can see the rampaging fullback in Ben White, smashing it in and getting us the double. So we claimed the double. Overall, a hugely successful season. Bit good about the Champions League. If I'd concentrated, we could have got that as well. As far as the league goes, we won 30 out of 38. Not quite in an invincible season, but only losing 3 times. A heavy defeat to City, so they did get back on us a little bit. West Ham and Chelsea, but 118 goals, only conceding 33. Pretty decent. There's the final tactic. All player instructions will be on the end of the video. The patrons, you've already got it. There's the in possessions. Now the use of underlaps was key, really getting the best out of the 2 wide players. Pretty standard stuff when it comes to in transition. And out of possession, really aggressive as well, because at the end of the day we still want to win in FM as well, right? But the overall setup, really happy with it and how it transpired in the game.